Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that the entire trajectory of your life could shift based on what you do in the first 2 hours after you open your eyes. Not what you think about doing, not what you plan to do someday, but what you actually do. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their morning to the demands of the world. The alarm screams, they hit snooze, they grab their phone and scroll through other people's lives before they have even touched their own. They rush through breakfast or skip it entirely. They arrive at work already exhausted, already behind, already defeated, and they wonder why their bank account never grows, why their dreams remain just out of reach, why success seems to be something that happens to other people but never to them. But here is what most people do not understand. Success is not some mystical force that visits a chosen few. It is not luck. It is not privilege, although privilege can make the journey shorter.
Success is the inevitable result of doing specific things in a specific way over a specific period of time. In the morning, that sacred space between sleep and the chaos of the day is where ordinary people plant the seeds that eventually grow into extraordinary lives. This is not motivational fluff. This is the mathematics of achievement. This is the blueprint. Let me tell you something I learned many years ago, something that changed everything for me. The day does not start when you walk into your office. The day does not start when you check your email or attend your first meeting. The day starts the moment you open your eyes. And whoever controls that first moment controls the entire day. Whoever controls the day controls the week. Whoever controls the week controls the year. And whoever controls the year controls their entire life. This is the compound effect of morning routines, and it is more powerful than most people could ever imagine.
Now, you might be thinking this sounds too simple. You might be thinking that successful people, millionaires, people who seem to have it all figured out, they must have some secret that you don't know about, some hidden advantage, some special connection or opportunity that fell into their lap. And yes, opportunities do present themselves. But here is what I have observed over decades of studying successful people. The opportunity doesn't create the person. The person creates the opportunity. And the person is created in the morning, in those quiet hours before the world starts making demands, before the phone starts ringing, before the emails start flooding in. That is where transformation happens. So let me walk you through 5 specific morning routines that are not just changing lives, but transforming ordinary people into millionaires. Not overnight. Success never happens overnight, despite what the internet wants you to believe, but systematically, predictably, inevitably. These are not complicated. In fact, you probably hear them and think they are too simple to work. But that is the trap that keeps most people trapped. They are looking for the complex solution when the simple one is sitting right in front of them, waiting to be picked up and used. The first routine is what I call the quiet hour. This is the hour before the sun comes up, or right as it is rising, depending on your schedule and your life circumstances. This is the hour where you do absolutely nothing that involves responding to someone else. No phone, no email, no news, no social media, no spouse asking what you want for breakfast, no children needing attention, just you and your thoughts and the dawn. Now, I can already hear the objections forming in your mind. You are saying, I don't have an extra hour. I barely have enough time to get ready as it is. My life is too busy. My responsibilities are too great. I have children. I have a demanding job. I cannot afford to wake up even earlier than I already do. But let me ask you a question. Can you afford not to?
Can you afford to continue living the way you were living, getting the results you were getting, feeling the way you were feeling? Because here's the truth that most people do not want to hear. If you don't have an hour for yourself, you don't have a life, you have an existence. You are surviving, not thriving. You are responding to life instead of creating it. And the millionaires I know, the truly successful people who have built something significant, they understand this at a deep level. They protect their morning the way a dragon protects its treasure. Because that morning hour is where they build their fortune. Not in dollars, not yet. In clarity, in focus, in peace, in energy, in vision. During this quiet hour, you are not trying to produce anything. You are not working. You are not planning your day yet, although that comes later. You are simply being.
You might sit with a cup of coffee and watch the sun come up. You might sit in silence. You might meditate, if that is your practice. You might pray, if that is your faith. You might journal, letting your thoughts flow onto paper without censoring them. But whatever you do it slowly. You do it intentionally. You do it without rushing. Because this hour is about reconnecting with yourself, with your purpose, with your why. And when you start your day from that place of centeredness, everything else flows differently. I have seen this transform people. I have seen stressed executives who are on the verge of burnout start waking up an hour earlier, and within months, their entire demeanor changed. They were calmer. They made better decisions. They stopped reacting to every little crisis and started responding with wisdom. And their bank accounts grew as a direct result. Because success in business is not about how much you hustle. It is about the quality of your decisions.
And the quality of your decisions is directly tied to the quality of your mental and emotional state. The quiet hour builds that foundation. The second routine is reading, but not just any reading. This is directed, purposeful, educational reading. 30 minutes minimum, every single morning, without exception. Now, I am not talking about reading the news, although staying informed has its place. I am not talking about reading fiction, although I love a good story as much as anyone. I am talking about reading books that teach you something. Books about business, books about psychology, books about philosophy, books about money and investing, books about leadership, books about communication, books written by people who have accomplished what you want to accomplish. Here is why this matters more than you might realize. The average person reads maybe one book a year after they finish their formal education. One book, and they wonder why their life does not change.
They wonder why they keep running into the same problems, making the same mistakes, getting the same mediocre results. But if you read for 30 minutes every morning, you will finish about 25 to 30 books a year. In 5 years, that's 150 books. In 10 years, 300 books. Do you understand what happens to a person who consumes 300 books on personal development, business strategy, financial literacy, and human psychology? They become a completely different person. They don't just know more. They see more. They understand more. They recognize opportunities that other people walk right past. I have a friend who started this habit 15 years ago. He was working a factory job, making $35,000 a year. He was not stupid. He was not lazy. He just didn't know what he didn't know. So he started reading every morning before his shift. Business biographies, sales books, marketing books, real estate investing books.
Books about negotiation and persuasion. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, his life started to change. He started seeing opportunities at work that others missed. He started speaking up in meetings with ideas that got noticed. He started a side business based on something he read in a book. That side business grew. 5 years into his reading habit, he left his factory job. 10 years in, he was running a multi-million-dollar company. 15 years in, he is financially free. Was it just the reading? No. Reading alone does not make you rich, but reading gave him the ideas. Reading gave him the frameworks. Reading gave him the confidence to try things he never would have tried otherwise. And most importantly, reading kept him growing. Because here's what happens to people who stop learning. They plateau. They reach a certain level, and then they stay there for decades. They get bitter. They blame the economy, or their boss, or the government, or their lack of opportunities.
But the millionaires I know, they are voracious readers. Not because they have more time, they have less time. But they understand that 30 minutes of reading in the morning is an investment that pays dividends all day long. And here's the key. You have to read things that challenge you, that stretch you, that make you uncomfortable. If you are only reading things you already agree with, you are not growing. You are just confirming your existing biases. Read books by people you disagree with. Read books about topics you know nothing about. Read books that are difficult and make you think, because growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not in the center of it. The third routine is physical movement. I am not necessarily talking about a full workout, although if you can fit that in, excellent. But at minimum, 20 minutes of movement that gets your blood flowing and your heart rate up. This could be a brisk walk, this could be yoga, this could be stretching.
This could be a quick bodyweight circuit in your living room. It does not matter what it is, as long as you are moving your body intentionally. Now, you might be wondering what physical movement has to do with making money. On the surface, nothing. But let me tell you what I have observed. Show me someone who is physically disciplined, and I will show you someone who is financially disciplined. Show me someone who takes care of their body, and I will show you someone who takes care of their business. The discipline is not separate. It is the same discipline applied to different areas of life. And more than that, physical movement does something to your brain chemistry that no amount of positive thinking can replicate. It floods your system with endorphins. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps you in fight-or-flight mode. It increases blood flow to your brain, which improves cognitive function, decision-making, and creativity.
I know people who make their best business decisions during or right after their morning walk. Why? Because their mind is clear, their stress is low. They are not sitting in front of a computer staring at problems. They are moving through space, and movement creates different kinds of thinking. Have you ever noticed that when you are stuck on a problem and you get up and walk around, the solution often comes to you? That is not coincidence. That is physiology. But here's the deeper reason why morning movement matters for wealth building. It's about self-respect. When you move your body in the morning, you are telling yourself that you matter, that your health matters, that you are worth the investment of 20 minutes. And people who believe they are worth investing in make different choices than people who do not. They negotiate for higher salaries. They start businesses. They take calculated risks.
They do not settle for mediocrity because they have already proven to themselves every single morning that they are capable of discipline and follow-through. I have seen this pattern over and over. The person who can't get out of bed early can't get themselves to make the tough phone call. The person who can't commit to 20 minutes of movement can't commit to building a business. The person who says they do not have time for exercise does not have time for wealth, because wealth building requires the same muscle that physical fitness requires: delayed gratification, consistency, the willingness to do things that are uncomfortable in the short term for benefits that compound in the long term. The fourth routine is visualization. And before you roll your eyes and dismiss this as new age nonsense, let me explain what I mean. This is not about sitting cross-legged and imagining money falling from the sky. This is not about vision boards and wishful thinking.
This is about mentally rehearsing your day, your goals, your ideal outcomes before they happen. Athletes do this. Olympic athletes spend hours visualizing their performance before they ever step onto the field or the track. They see themselves executing perfectly. They feel the emotions of success. They rehearse the movements in their mind. And study after study has shown that mental rehearsal activates the same neural pathways as physical practice. So here's what this looks like practically. After your quiet hour, after your reading, after your movement, you sit down for 10 minutes and you visualize your day going exactly as you want it to go. You see yourself in that important meeting, speaking with confidence and clarity. You see yourself having difficult conversations with grace and effectiveness. You see yourself making that sales call and the client saying yes. You see yourself working on your business with focus and energy.
You see yourself coming home at the end of the day, feeling accomplished and fulfilled. You see your bank account growing. You see your goals being achieved. Now here is what this does. It programs your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information and decides what is important. When you visualize success, your brain starts looking for opportunities to make that vision real. You start noticing things you would have missed otherwise. You start taking actions that align with your vision. You start becoming the person who achieves those outcomes. This is not magic. This is neuroscience. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So when you repeatedly visualize success, your brain starts to believe it is possible. And when your brain believes something is possible, you start taking the actions that make it inevitable. I know a woman who built a 7-figure coaching business using this exact technique.
Every single morning, she would sit for 10 minutes and see herself serving her clients at the highest level. She would see herself on stage speaking to thousands of people. She would see her bank account with the balance she wanted. She would feel the emotions of gratitude and accomplishment. And then she would go about her day. And here is what happened. Opportunities started appearing. People started referring clients to her. She got invited to speak at events. Her business grew faster than she ever thought possible. Was it just the visualization? No. She also took massive action. But the visualization kept her focused. It kept her motivated. It kept her believing when things got hard. And belief, sustained over time, moves mountains. The fifth and final routine is what I call the daily non-negotiable. This is the one action that moves your most important goal forward every single day without exception. Not when you feel like it, not when you have time, every day.
This is not your to-do list. This is not all the things you need to do. This is the one thing that if you did nothing else today, you would still go to bed feeling like you made progress toward your most important goal. If your goal is to build a business, your daily non-negotiable might be making 5 sales calls. If your goal is to write a book, it might be writing 500 words. If your goal is to learn a new skill, it might be practicing for 30 minutes. If your goal is to build wealth through real estate, it might be analyzing one property. The specific action does not matter as much as the consistency. Because here is what happens when you do your daily non-negotiable every single morning. You build momentum. And momentum is the most powerful force in achievement. Most people fail not because they lack talent or intelligence or resources. They fail because they lack consistency. They work on their goal when they feel motivated.
They take action when circumstances are perfect. They wait for inspiration to strike. And inspiration is wonderful when it comes, but it is an unreliable friend. Discipline, on the other hand, is the friend who shows up every single day without fail. Discipline is what carries you through when motivation has abandoned you. Discipline is what separates the millionaires from the dreamers. I know a man who built a real estate empire on this principle. His daily non-negotiable was to analyze 3 properties every single morning before he did anything else. 3 properties, that is it. Some days he was excited about it. Most days it felt like a grind, but he did it anyway. 3 properties every morning for 5 years. Do you know how many properties that is? Over 5,000. And out of those 5,000, he found maybe 30 that were worth buying. And those 30 properties made him a millionaire. Most people would have quit after a month.
They would have said, "This is not working. I have analyzed 90 properties and nothing has happened." But he understood something that most people never learn. Success is not about the result of one day. It is about the compound effect of many days. Your daily non-negotiable is your vote for the person you are becoming. Every morning you do it, you are proving to yourself that you are serious, that you are committed, that you are not just talking about your goals, you are doing something about them. And that proof accumulates. It builds confidence. It builds identity. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, as someone who keeps their word to themselves. And that identity shift is worth more than any strategy or tactic, because strategies and tactics only work for people who actually implement them. Now let me bring this all together, because I don't want you to miss the bigger picture here.
These 5 routines, the quiet hour, the reading, the movement, the visualization, the daily non-negotiables, they are not 5 separate things you have to somehow cram into your morning. They are one integrated system. They build on each other. They reinforce each other. They create a momentum that carries you through your entire day. Here's what a morning built on this blueprint might look like. You wake up at 5 in the morning. You don't check your phone. You make a cup of coffee or tea, and you sit in silence for an hour. You watch the sun come up. You journal. You think about your life and where you're going. You reconnect with your purpose. Then at 6, you pick up a book and you read for 30 minutes. You're learning about something that matters to you, something that is helping you grow. At 6:30, you put on your shoes and you go for a 20-minute walk around your neighborhood. You're moving your body, clearing your mind, getting your blood flowing.
At 6:50, you sit down and you visualize your day and your goals for 10 minutes. You see yourself succeeding. You feel the emotions of achievement. And then at 7, you do your daily non-negotiable. You take that one action that moves your most important goal forward. And by 7:30 or 8, you are done. You have invested 2 to 3 hours in yourself. And now you are ready to face the world. Compare that morning to the typical morning. Wake up late, rush through a shower, grab something to eat on the way out the door. Spend the commute stressed about traffic. Arrive at work already exhausted. Which person do you think is going to make better decisions throughout the day? Which person is going to have more energy? Which person is going to see opportunities? Which person is going to have the emotional reserves to deal with challenges? Which person is going to build wealth over time? The answer is obvious.
But here is what stops most people from implementing this blueprint.
They try to do it all at once. They read about these 5 routines, and they try to wake up tomorrow and do all of them perfectly. And they last maybe 3 days before they crash and burn and go back to their old ways. And then they tell themselves that morning routines do not work, that this stuff is for other people, that they are just not morning people. But that is not the truth. The truth is they tried to build Rome in a day. If you want this blueprint to transform your life, you have to start small. Pick one routine, just one. Maybe it is the quiet hour. Maybe it is the reading. Maybe it is the movement. Pick the one that resonates with you most and commit to doing it for 30 days. Just 30 days. That is it. Do not worry about the other 4. Do not try to be perfect. Just do that one thing consistently for a month. And after 30 days, it will start to feel natural.
It will become part of who you are. And then you add the second routine. And 30 days after that, you add the third. And within 6 months, you will have all 5 routines integrated into your morning. And you will not even remember what life was like before. This is how transformation happens, not with massive overnight changes that never last, but with small, consistent actions that compound over time. The person you are becoming is being built every single morning. And if you build the right morning, you will build the right day. And if you build the right day, you will build the right week. And if you build the right week, you will build the right year. And if you build the right year, you will build the right life. I have been teaching these principles for decades, and I have seen them work for thousands of people. Not because there is anything magical about them, but because they are based on universal laws that govern success. The law of cause and effect.
The law of compound interest. The law of sowing and reaping. You can't plant crabgrass and expect to harvest corn. And you can't plant mediocre mornings and expect to harvest an extraordinary life. So let me ask you a question. What would your life look like 1 year from today if you implemented this blueprint starting tomorrow? Where would your bank account be? Where would your business be? Where would your health be? Where would your relationships be? Where would your confidence be? I can't tell you exactly what your life would look like because everyone starts from a different place and everyone has different goals. But I can tell you with absolute certainty that your life would not be the same. It could not be the same because you would not be the same person. The morning routine you choose is the life you choose. If you choose to hit snooze and check your phone and rush through your morning reacting to everyone else's agenda, you are choosing a reactive life. A life we are always behind, always stressed, always wondering why success is not finding you. But if you choose to wake up early and invest in yourself, if you choose to read and move and visualize and take action, a life we are always behind, always stressed, always wondering why success is not finding you. But if you choose to wake up early and invest in yourself, if you choose to read and move and visualize and take action on your goals every single morning, you are choosing a proactive life, a life where you are in control, where you are moving towards something rather than running from something, where success is not a matter of if, but when. And here is the beautiful thing about this blueprint. It does not require you to be special. It does not require you to have advantages you do not have. It does not require you to be smarter or more talented or more connected than you already are. It requires you to be disciplined. It requires you to be consistent. It requires you to value your future more than you value sleeping in. That is it. And those are choices that anyone can make, regardless of their circumstances.
I think about the people I have known who went from ordinary to extraordinary. The single mother who built a business while working full-time and raising 3 kids. The factory worker who became a real estate investor. The high school dropout who became a millionaire entrepreneur. None of them had easy circumstances. None of them had perfect conditions. But all of them had morning routines that kept them focused, energized, and moving forward, even when everything in their external world was telling them to quit. Your morning is your laboratory. It is where you experiment with who you can become. It is where you build the habits that build the life. And the beautiful thing about habits is that once they are established, they run on autopilot. You don't have to think about them. You don't have to motivate yourself to do them. You just do them because that's who you are. And when your morning routine is on autopilot, your success becomes on autopilot. Not because success is easy. It never is. But because you have become the kind of person for whom success is inevitable. So here's my challenge to you. Do not just read this and nod your head and think that is interesting and then go back to your old ways. That is what most people do. They consume information and they never transform. They read and they listen and they learn and nothing changes because they never take action. Do not be most people. Most people are broke. Most people are unhappy. Most people never achieve their dreams. You don't want to be most people. Instead, decide right now which of these 5 routines you are going to start with tomorrow morning. Write it down. Set your alarm for 30 minutes earlier than you normally wake up. Put your phone across the room so you have to get out of bed to turn it off. And when that alarm goes off tomorrow, do not think. Do not negotiate with yourself. Just get up and do the thing you committed to doing. And do it again the next day. And the day after that. And the day after that. For 30 days straight without missing a single day. And watch what happens. Watch how your confidence grows. Watch how your clarity improves. Watch how opportunities start appearing. Watch how your bank account starts growing. Watch how you stop becoming the person you always knew you could be. Because that person is not somewhere in the distant future waiting for you to find them. That person is built morning by morning, choice by choice, routine by routine. The wealthy understand this. They understand that the morning is the foundation and everything else is built on top of it. They don't hope for a better life. They build it. They don't wait for opportunities. They create them. They don't leave their success to chance. They engineer it through the disciplined execution of daily routines that might seem small and insignificant, but compound into fortunes over time. And you can do the same. You have the same 24 hours that billionaires have. You have access to the same information. You have the same fundamental capabilities. The only difference is how you use your mornings. And that difference, small as it might seem, is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary, between struggling and thriving, between dreaming about wealth and actually building it. So the question is not whether this blueprint works. It does. The question is whether you will work the blueprint, whether you will commit to it, whether you will stick with it when it is hard and you are tired and you do not feel like getting up early. Because those moments are the moments that determine everything. Those are the moments where millionaires are made. Not in the big decisions, not in the lucky breaks, but in the small, unsexy daily choices to honor your commitments to yourself, even when no one is watching. Your future self is watching, though.
And your future self is either thanking you or resenting you based on what you do tomorrow morning. Choose to make them thank you. Choose to invest in them. Choose to build the morning routine that builds the life you actually want.
instead of settling for the life that happens by default. This is the blueprint. These are the 5 routines: the quiet hour, the reading, the movement, the visualization, the daily non-negotiable. Simple, not easy, but simple, and available to anyone who is willing to pay the price of waking up early and doing the work. That price might seem high when your alarm goes off at 5 in the morning, but the price of regret is infinitely higher. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Choose discipline. Choose the morning routine. Choose to become the person who builds wealth instead of the person who wishes for it. And one day, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10, you will look back at this moment as the turning point. The moment when everything changed, not because the circumstances changed, but because you changed. And you changed because your mornings changed. And your mornings changed because you made a decision. One decision: to wake up tomorrow and start building the life you deserve. That is the blueprint. Now go build.